Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about my aesthetic, everything from my clothing to my decor and everything in between. I feel like there is so much in the word aesthetic. So there's so many things that I want to talk about or that I could talk about. But I think we just need to dive in. And I wanted to start off with my planner. So I think someone's planner says a lot about them. I think people who have planners versus people who don't, and different ways of doing your planner says so much about a person. So if you're, in my opinion, if you're a person who has a planner, you're very worried in a way of your plans, and you want to make sure you're on top of them, ahead of the game. You remember as well as plan things. You like planning. You like having this set thing, and even if those have to change or if you can make new plans, it's okay. You just like to have a set idea. For some people, that's different. For some people, if you don't give them more than a week, they won't do it. If you give them over 2 weeks, they won't do it. It's so weird. To me, I kind of say yes to everything that involves my family, and then most things that involve my friends. And then I put it on my planner. Even if it's day of, I still put it in the planner as well as say yes, because I love doing things with my family and also my friends. So it's like, yeah. But I think someone's planner says a lot about them. As I have said like 18 million times, I don't know a different way to phrase it, but a lot of people's planners will look like this. And that's completely fine. Mine used to look exactly like that, clearly. That is how mine looked for years, is just simple, writing it all out, and that is fine. And I don't have the best handwriting in the world. Certainly do not. I don't even really consider myself to have good handwriting. But I would still just write it in myself. And I think that says a lot about a person in just writing it out, is they want to be fast, they want to have it in there, but they just need to get it done. Other people will take time, sit down, and really focus on their planner. And I don't think you're good or bad either way. I think people can definitely change, because I have definitely changed in the way I do my planner. Again, I used to just jot it in there real fast. Now, my planners look like this. This is how I do my planners now. I do spreads, and I make them really fun and happy for me. I have Disney theme because I love Disney. I have, aesthetically pleasing spreads like this one. I have holiday spreads because holidays make me so happy. I have Christmas spreads for December already set up. And there are, so many different aesthetics I feel like I follow. I wouldn't categorize my one aesthetic. I don't think I can, to be honest. Like, I really don't feel like I am one aesthetic. I feel like I am a mix of so many different ones, as well as kind of not really knowing some of the aesthetics I necessarily am. Especially when it comes to my planner, I feel like every week I'm going for something different. Like this week I was going for a more like calming, floral, aesthetic vibe. And then the week before I was going for something I love, like Disney. And the week before I was going for mostly what it was saying, not the colors, because I don't like a lot of color, but I mostly was using it for what these were saying. This is a mindfulness week. And then the week before I was going for the holiday. So yeah, I guess that is my planner and my thought process on people and planners. And what I do in my planner is totally different from what you do in your planner. And that's okay, because it's your planner. It helps me to do it this way, and for some of you, it might help you to do it a different way, and that's totally fine. Whatever works for you is awesome, and for me, this totally works. I think having a fun planner always open and I'm looking at it every day helps me more than just a jotted down note. But that could totally be the opposite for other people, and that's totally okay because it's your planner. So, by the way, this is my planner. It is the Snow and Graham Chicago for Blue Sky. I don't really know what any of that means, but I do know it's from Target for like $10, and it is the Blue Sky brand. Yeah, I mean, it looks like this. I don't know if we'll have the same pattern this year. I do like the pattern of this. I don't really know what I was thinking when I bought this planner, to be honest. It's not really my aesthetic. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was in the moment. But I do really, really, really love the layout. I love this, the way it is. I really like that. I love having the lines. Even if I do the stickers, I still enjoy having the lines as a guide. It really helps me out. So that is all I have to say about the planner. Next thing about aesthetic that I wanted to talk about is contrast as well as texture. So these are big things that play into someone's aesthetic, is the way they like contrast and symmetry and color and texture. For me, contrast looks like my room. I have white walls, but I have white furniture, and I really enjoy that. I do really like my white furniture. However, if I were to go back when well, I guess I can't go back because technically I got the furniture before I painted the room. I wouldn't change my mind on painting my room white. That is the best decision I ever made. But I would probably have wood-toned furniture. Light wood, not yellow wood-toned furniture. That would be my dream, is like either that or like a creamy nude taupey color furniture. Not gray, other than my bed. My bed frame is a completely different story. I'm talking dresser, desk, and side tables. But I have white, and I really do like it up against the white. I think it fits really well, and my furniture is all from IKEA, and so it all matches. The color of the furniture matches to each other, and then the wall is technically a different color because I don't think any white is exactly the same. And I actually do like it. I don't know if I would pick it out like intentionally to do white on white, but I don't think it looks horrible. So I think the contrast between the different types of white is enough. However, my chair to my desk, I want to change for a lot of reasons. One, I don't think it looks very nice anymore, especially because it's worn down a lot. I've had it for many, many years, as well as the fact that it's super uncomfortable, and it is also white. So I think having something to break it up would look really, really nice, as well as a textured chair. I want like a texture and color similar to my bed frame, and that is the plan. That's the one I want, and all of those types of things. So moving on to my bed, that brings us right into my bed. My bed is like a gray, I wouldn't call it heather gray, but it's not just gray. You know what I mean? It's definitely has like texture to it. Even when you just look at it, you're like, oh, that has texture. And I love the feeling of my bed. It's not just like one texture. It has I don't even know how to describe that. I don't know the technical term for that, but it's like, it has that feeling almost like it has the feeling like heather gray would look to be, even though like usually heather gray stuff is just flat. It doesn't necessarily look heather gray, but it has the feeling that heather gray looks like it would have, if that makes sense. So I love that. I love, love, love my bed frame. I actually got it on Amazon. Amazon. It is awesome. I love the black accents on the like posts, and then I love the little things to make it have interest at the head of the bed. I really love that. And then I love that it comes around the frame of it. Okay, moving on to the decor piece of contrast and texture, as well as color. So for my staple pieces that stay in my room, there aren't a lot, to be honest. I switch it up very often, but a few of those things are my lamp, my Grey's Anatomy poster and frame, my 1 or 2 plants that haven't died yet. I only have 1 left right now. Other than that, I've killed them all. As well as my diffuser, and I always have my letterboard up. It's just changed up. I can't say always because it was down for a long time, I guess. I always have my dream catcher. I don't know why. I think I've just slowly built myself up into a superstition about it. I don't know. I just can't bring myself to take it down. I always have my little mirror. It just gets moved. And then I always have my planter above my mirror. I want to get into that planter. There is supposed to be a plant in it. That plant is basically dead now. And it also, I haven't for some reason moved the planter above the mirror, but I'm also kind of like, I don't know what to do because I'm kind of lost. I need a really long plant because my plan was to wrap the leaves around the mirror, but I don't have a plant that does that, and I think my best next option is probably a fake plant, but like the most real looking fake plant I can find. So another thing about my decor is that I kind of mentioned, like I change it up so often. I change it with every season, every holiday. Like right now I have a few Thanksgiving things with like fall touches, and then October I had some more like spooky touches, Halloween touches, and then I will have Christmas throwing up after Thanksgiving. So excited. So excited. I will be filming all of that for you guys. You guys will see that in December. Another thing that I wanted to specifically talk about was my pumpkin everything sign. So my dad gave me this idea to talk about this in specifics to contrast. So the contrast that I personally was drawn to in that was the pumpkin is a more just, simple font and more like, I don't know how to describe the font necessarily, but a very simple and like just form font, if that makes sense. Like it's just, it has its levels, I don't know how to describe that, but it has its like parameters, if you get what I mean. And that's what it's sticking to. It's staying in like a box, if that makes sense. And then the everything is scripty. It's going off of that same level as the pumpkin. And I was really drawn to that because it's different and it has contrast. It's not just the same thing twice. And it's really interesting to look at when you really think about it. It is a very interesting piece that I did get at a local shop, but I'm sure you can find things like that elsewhere. It's very like interesting feeling. It's just a metal sign, and it has like a silvery gray color to it, and I love the different fonts. They're very cool, and I love how pumpkin is actually in the simpler font and then everything is in the scripty font, because sometimes you would think like the word pumpkin would want to be emphasized more than everything, but I guess in a way it is, because your eye does get drawn a little bit more, in my opinion, to the pumpkin. I think that could be due to, I never learned cursive. I learned it for about 3 months, and that was right when they stopped teaching it in my, I don't know about state or district or what, but I learned it for like 3 months, and then they stopped teaching us cursive. So my eye gets drawn to the regular, I don't know if that's the best way to phrase it, font, faster than the scripty cursive font. But my eye, once I see the pumpkin, really does get drawn downward into that scripty font. So I think it's really cool, and I thought it was something cool to mention about just the deep contrast that it holds. Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of cool. All right, so the next thing is everything, in my opinion, that I pick up, that I touch, that I buy, that has anything to do with aesthetics has a meaning. And that does bring me to somewhere else, how I also think that everything is part of your aesthetic. Just how everything is part of your story, I think every little minute detail that your eye is drawn to, that your body feels drawn to, that your mind says, buy this, is your aesthetic. Whether it's clothes, whether it's decor, whether it's technology or anything that you're buying, or even food. I think food has a total aesthetic. Like, I totally think there is different aesthetics in food. And I think it's really cool, honestly, how everything you touch is part of your story, but is also part of your aesthetic. So I think, like, you pick up a black marker, but your friend picks up a purple marker. I think that totally says something about your differences in aesthetics and your differences in opinion or likes and dislikes. And it's really, really cool how your eye and your brain says something to you, and you do that because of this whole idea of aesthetic and the whole idea of likes and dislikes, as I said. And it's really interesting to think about. When it all comes down to it, it's all part of this one idea of aesthetic. So I had mentioned in the beginning of the video my love for cleaning and organization, and some might say OCD. Well, I definitely think I have OCD tendencies. I have never been medically diagnosed with OCD. It does run in my family, so I wouldn't be surprised if I have some sort of an OCD, but I definitely don't have the OCD where I have to, tap the doorknob 5 times before I open it. It's nothing like that or anything severe that would be a bad thing for me. So that's where I'm coming from when I say everything. So I kind of wrote out a little blurb, and I want to read it to you guys, and then we will pick it apart and kind of, go through it a little bit and really dive into the OCD pieces of it, as well as aesthetics and design in it. All right, it's a little cheesy sometimes, but here we go. Some might say I have OCD. Heck, that's what I say, because I see things that look off and I go nuts. But I think it could be more than just someone having OCD. I think it's almost like when someone has autism and they just see the world in a different light than everyone else, and sometimes a better one. And that is what I have come to think of when someone says people like me who just have the design bug or an eye for design. So that is the blurb that I wrote, and I still stick by that statement. I'm not comparing OCD or someone who likes design to having autism. Not by any means, and I'm not shaming by any means or any of that. I just wanted to get that out of the way. But I am saying how a lot of times I've heard, parents who have autistic kids, or even just anybody who knows anything about autism, I've heard this before, saying that before you even know, your child or whomever just sees the world in a different light, a different way. And I personally think that true of also people who have OCD or may have OCD or have that design bug or eye for design. I think that could be true and is true of those people. And I think that because if you really think about it, like, we look at a leaf and, so many things come to our head that maybe wouldn't come to someone else's who have OCD or who have that eye for design or design bug. Like for me, if I picked up a leaf and say it was a yellow leaf that was just, you know, the normal leaf that like has kind of like the 3 little leaf heads and then the stem, in my mind, I would think, obviously, you know, fall, but also, I don't know, it's kind of hard to do this without actually looking at the leaf to see what my mind would go to, because I'm trying to find it, but I just want to see what my mind would actually go to. But what I think my mind would go to is one, fall. I think everyone would probably do that. But also, how could I turn this into a decoration? How could I turn this into inspiration is kind of the way that I think my mind would go with having OCD tendencies as well as the design bug or an eye for design. Is how can I turn this into a design, and how can my design fit in with a leaf or fit in with this color scheme? It would give me inspiration, I think, is how that would go. Or I also think that we are artists in a way. We're not physically painting or drawing, but we are being creative and we are artistic in a sense of, you know, we're placing objects, but I guess so does an artist, you know, like an artist would place objects in such a way and then paint them. So I think that in some sort of ways, we are artists, we are creative, we are all those sorts of things. And it's really, really cool in that way. And I love to hear other people's opinions on design and have, you know, debates isn't necessarily the right word, but sort of about different design types. And I feel like there is so much out there about different design trends that could be contradicting the other, because I hear that all the time. I hear from one person, silver's the new trend. I hear from another person that matte black's the new trend. I hear from another person that gold's the new trend. But what it really comes down to is you don't really know. One, it changes every second. And two, I guess it kind of depends who you ask, as well as where and when you ask. So it's really cool. If you can't tell, I am really, really enjoying filming this video all about design and aesthetic and specifically decoration and home design topics, not necessarily clothing design, because that's not my passion as much as home design is, along with my planner aspect. I think that really was like just to get into the idea of what is an aesthetic and to give you a sense of where this video is going, and it was going to here. What is your aesthetic? How would you classify your aesthetic? And if you can't, that's okay, because I can't, honestly. I couldn't tell you. I think it's a total mix of minimalism in some areas, of contemporary, definitely modern, but also like a warmth feeling. Clearly, not like physically warm, but warm colors, but also cool colors. Not a lot of bright color or a lot of color. I like neutrals, earth tones for sure. I'm not a huge pink person or even purple, but blues, like deep light blues, if that makes sense, not like bright blues, but earth tone blues, mustard colors, I love that kind of stuff. And then for metals, I'm not a huge gold person. The only time I'm really like okay with gold is jewelry, and some jewelries I think it can be pretty, but not a ton of it. Not a huge gold person. For home design though, I think it does look really nice in some spaces and in specific spaces. However, I couldn't see myself using it just because I feel like I wouldn't like it, but maybe in a space that I could design possibly for someone else. I don't know. I think my favorite metal inside of a home is a matte black metal. for sure. I'm not a fan of silver metals in a home either. I think that it looks unfinished, in my opinion. My all-time favorite color is white. It is white. It used to be gray, but it definitely evolved to white. I think for a lot of reasons. One, age. I think growing up, I don't know if growing up is the right way to phrase it, but I think just like with time, it definitely changes. It used to be pink and purple, and then it was gray, and now it is white. It was gray for a long time, and I think in the past year or two, it has evolved into being really that white is my favorite color. I think a few reasons are, it's a great base color. Like, it's such an amazing color to just paint your entire house white and then put in any color you do like with other things. And the reason that I personally think that that's the way that it should be done, I mean, obviously no one has to follow everyone else or follow me, but the reason that I think that is the way that I would do it is it's easy. It's easy to change, you know, even a dresser than it is to paint a room, or it's easy to change, you know, the books than it is to paint a room. So that's why for me, having just everything white, a clean slate, and then on top of that putting in your color that you do like of any sort. It can be more white or just black or just, you know, gray or a little bit of both. It can be very much neutrals like it is for me personally. Or it can be brighter colors. I just think it gives a nice clean look than color on the wall. But to each their own. And then also moving into kind of my color palettes for my dream home one day is definitely white, black, gray, and anything neutral like a sandy color, sage, like a white sage color. I do enjoy the color sage green. I just can't see myself ever putting it on a wall because, again, the white walls is what I like. But definitely in accents I could see like in the spring or summertime. I do really like the mustardy auburn type color for the fall time. I think that is really pretty in clothing along with decoration. I couldn't ever see myself getting a couch in that color, but definitely accents. That's a fun one to talk about though, your couch. I think I see myself getting a very, very, very light gray couch. You know those ones where like you vacuum, if you vacuum the couch, you see the lines, those type. That's the type of couch I want, like a very, very light gray with that type of couch. I don't know why, that's just what I envision, I guess. And then you will notice that when I'm doing the shots of my room, I have a gray bedspread and pillow shams. Well, I want a white one, but I have not found one. I have been looking for like 7 months for the right one. I just want it to be gray, not too puffy, nothing on it, and like a linen-y cotton feel, like a really casual bedding. Is it a duvet cover or a comforter? I think a duvet is like the one that you put inside of like the duvet. So I would say a comforter and the shams. I can't find one. I hate that it's gray. I just don't like it. Even though the walls are white, I just really dislike the fact that my comforter is gray and my bed is gray. Like, it's just gray. Like, that whole thing, that whole little blob right there is just gray, and it's weird because there really isn't a lot of gray in my room other than that blob of it in the middle. I wouldn't mind if the headboard and frame are gray. It's that the comforter is gray and it should be white because it's like, I don't know. And also it would give a nice neutral palette for when I add on fun pillows and blankets for the different seasons. Like every holiday I have a different blanket. Like right now for Thanksgiving I have one that says thankful, and it's a bit of a deeper mustardy color than my jacket is. And then I have like a red pillow for December, but like it would look so good on a white comforter. Just can't find one. All right, you guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I really enjoyed filming it and just talking about everything design and aesthetic, and I will see you all next week. Bye.